There are 7 money habits that keep families poor. Today, we are going through every single one. Most people believe that being bad with money means you spend too much or you do not earn enough. And that feels true. It is the story we have all been told. But the habits that actually keep families stuck do not look like mistakes. They look like normal. They feel reasonable. Some of them even feel smart. And that's exactly what makes them so hard to spot. I've built and exited 3 companies across 3 countries. I have a 7-figure portfolio, and I kept 35 families employed through 2 revolutions in Egypt. And every one of these mistakes I have either made myself or watched someone close to me pay the price. Some of them cost years. So here's the plan. 7 habits in the exact order they do the most damage. Each one connects to the next. And by the end, you will see the full picture of what has been quietly working against your family the whole time. Mistake 1, trying to fix money alone. This is the mistake that sits underneath every other mistake on the list. And almost nobody talks about it. One person in the household decides to get serious about money. They set a budget. They download the app. They start tracking. And then their partner spends $300 on something unplanned. Or their teen blows through their allowance in a day. And the whole system collapses. The problem was never the budget. The budget is that one person was playing in a different game than everyone else in the house. Families fail with money for the same reasons teams fail at work. No shared rules, no shared language, no shared direction. I call the fix the household sync. 1 conversation, 15 minutes, 3 questions. What are we spending on that we do not need? What is the one goal we all agree on for the next 90 days? And who handles what? Without that alignment, every habit you try to build gets sabotaged by the people you live with. Not because they are against you, because they do not know what you're doing. What are you playing? Now here's the part most people push back on. You're thinking, my spouse will never sit down for this. My teen will roll their eyes. That resistance is real. But it's not about the conversation. It's about every past money conversation that ended in blame or lecture. The household sync is not what you're doing wrong. It's what are we building together? That is mistake number 1. And it's the one that makes every other mistake on the list worse. Mistake number 2 is something most people do every single week without realizing the damage. Mistake 2, relying on willpower instead of systems. Every month the paycheck lands, and every month you tell yourself the same thing. This month I will save more. This month I will be better. And then Wednesday hits, the grocery bill is higher than expected, the kids needs more for their school, there is a sale going on and you can't miss it. By the end of the month, there's nothing left to save. Again. This is not a discipline problem. This is a design problem. Without this one rule, every other habit breaks. And the rule is simple. Automate your savings before you see the money. The moment your paycheck lands, a percentage moves. 10% is a strong default. 20% is better. You never touch it. You never negotiate with yourself. The decision happened once. Now it just runs. Willpower is like a battery. It drains. Systems are wiring. They run whether you feel like it or not. When I built my first company, that was when I started looking into handling finances more closely. I automated my personal savings in the same way I automated my business expenses. It was never a monthly debate, just the system. The family that stays stuck are the ones who make saving a decision they repeat every month. The families that build wealth are the ones who made the decision once and move on. 2 mistakes down. You're flying solo and you're relying on willpower. The next mistake is the one that exhausts people so badly they stop trying altogether. Mistake 3. Tracking everything. This one surprises people because it sounds like good advice. Track your spending. Know where every dollar goes. But here's what actually happens. Someone downloads a budgeting app with 40 categories, say. They track every coffee, every parking meter, every grocery receipt. It lasts about 2 weeks, already exhausted. Then the app sends a notification that they overspent on dining. They feel guilty. They avoid opening the app altogether, and the budget dies in this moment quietly. The problem is not tracking. The problem is tracking too much. Complexity kills consistency every single time. You do not need 40 categories. You need 3 numbers. 1, what comes in every month. 2, what goes out on bills you cannot avoid. 3, what's left. That third number is your real budget. Everything else is noise. Here's where people push back. You're thinking, I've tried budgeting before, it never sticks. That's exactly the point. Budgets that require daily tracking do not stick. A system that asks you to check 3 numbers once a week does. Share those numbers during your household sync. Put them on the fridge. The point is that everyone in the house knows the real number, not a spreadsheet, a shared fact. 3 mistakes in: solo effort, willpower dependence, and over-tracking. Now we get to the mistake that does most financial damage. And it's the one that feels the most normal. If this is hitting home so far, a like helps more families find this video. That's all it does. Thanks for that. Mistake 4. Treating debt like it's normal. Credit cards, buy now, pay later services, sometimes called BNPL in our world of abbreviations. Car loans, store financing, monthly payment plans for things you cannot afford in full. None of this feels like a crisis, and that's exactly the problem. Debt has been engineered to feel normal. Credit card companies make their money from your minimum payments. Buy now, pay later apps are designed to split the pain of spending so you do not feel it all at once. The entire system is built to make debt invisible. And when something feels normal, you stop questioning it. But here's what debt actually does to your family finances. It works as an anti-system. Every system you build to get ahead, debt quietly undermines it. You automate savings, but your credit card is charging 22 up to 48% interest. That eats it. You set a 90-day goal, but buy now, pay later turns every impulse into a future bill you forgot about. Debt does not just cost money, it costs clarity, it costs energy. It turns every financial decision into a negotiation between past you and future you. The fix is not shame. It is a filter. Before you add any new debt, run it through one question. Does this purchase move my family closer to our 90-day goal or further away? That question comes straight from the household sync. See how these connect? 4 mistakes in. And now we move to the one that I learned the hard way. This mistake nearly cost me everything. And it took 2 revolutions to prove how dangerous it is. Mistake 5. Skipping the buffer. In 2011, I was running a company in Egypt when the Arab Spring hit. Banks closed, not for a day, for weeks. ATMs ran dry, supply chains collapsed overnight. I had 35 employees, 35 families depending on their paycheck. And at home, my wife and a newborn baby, just 1 month old. Most business owners around me, they panicked. They laid off staff, they closed up shop. I did not panic. Because I had what I call a war chest, cash reserves, that bought me time to think clearly instead of react desperately. The mistake most families make is skipping the buffer. They go straight from earning to spending or straight from earning to investing. And the moment something unexpected happens, the car, the medical bill, the job loss, they have nothing. Nothing between them and a crisis. Emergency funds get talked about all the time. You've heard it. But here's why most people still do not have one. The advice always sounds like a lecture. Save 3 to 6 months of expenses. That feels impossible when you are living to paycheck. So start smaller. $50 a month, $100 a month is a forward motion. The number is not the point. The access is the point. When chaos hits, you need money you can reach tomorrow morning, without selling anything or asking anyone. Cash. Accessible, boring, and ready. That is the war chest. 5 mistakes in, your family is flying solo, running on willpower, over-tracking, normalizing debt, and has no cushion. The next mistake is the one that traps people on both sides. And if you want more of this kind of thinking, subscribe. It's the simplest way to keep in touch with me. I put 1 video a week out, every Saturday. Mistake 6, getting the order wrong. There are 2 versions of this mistake. And most families make one or the other. Version 1. You hear that you should invest. So you start putting money into the market before you have a buffer. Then one bad month hits, you panic, you sell everything at the loss, and you decide investing is far too risky. Version 2. You save and you save and you save and you save and you're still saving and you never invest. And meanwhile, inflation quietly eats the value of every dollar sitting in that saving account. Your money shrinks while you think it's growing. The order is everything. Save first until your war chest is funded. Then invest. Saving protects, investing builds. Mix them up and you either crash or stall. Investing is not gambling. Fundamentally different. Index funds, which are baskets of hundreds of companies bundled together, are a calm starting point for you. $100 a month over 20 years builds something real because of the compounding interest. That means your money earns returns on top of the returns it already earned. Here's what many people think at this point. You're thinking, I do not even have enough to invest. You do not need a lot. You need consistency. And you need to start. After your buffer is in place, not before. But then start. When I read The Intelligent Investor in the 90s, it was the first time someone explained investing as a patience, not excitement game. I built a 7-figure portfolio by being really boring and consistent, not by chasing the hot stocks that some influencer told me about. The conversation to have at home at this stage is, once our war chest is funded, where does the next dollar go? That's our family decision, not a solo one. 6 mistakes down, 1 left. And this last one is the most damaging of all, because it is the one that gets passed from generation to generation without anyone noticing. Mistake 7, never talking about money at home. When a viral money video hit 10 million views, 22 people in the comments said the same thing. This should be taught in school. They're right. But here's the harder truth. Schools are not going to fix this in the time for your kids or yourself. And waiting for the education system to catch up is how another generation grows up without knowing how money works. The real damage happens in the silence. Most families never talk about money. Not the real numbers, not the real decisions, not the real stress. Kids grow up watching their parents avoid the topic. They absorb the anxiety without absorbing any of the knowledge. And then they repeat the same patterns in their life. My daughter Noor used to spend her pocket money the moment it hit her hand. Friday she would get it, Saturday was gone. No thought, no pain. I did not lecture her. Instead, I started sharing my own money decisions out loud. When I was paying a bill, I said what I was doing and why. When I moved money to savings, I showed her the screen. She started asking questions, not because I forced a lesson on her, because I modeled the behavior. The mistake is not that you are bad with money. The mistake is staying silent about it. Because silence is the habit that gets inherited. One conversation a week at the kitchen table, that's all it takes. And over time, you're not just teaching your teen about money, you are building a shared language that this family speaks for the rest of their lives. Can you believe it? 7 mistakes, all of them feel normal. None of them look like emergencies, and that is exactly why they do so much damage. Trying to fix money alone, relying on willpower instead of systems, tracking everything instead of 3 numbers, treating debt like it's normal, skipping the buffer, getting the order wrong between saving and investing, and staying silent about money at home. Now you know what to stop. If you want to see what to build instead, I made a video called 12 Tiny Money Habits That Keep My Family Safe Through 2 Revolutions. I will link it right here. You do not need to fix all the 7 at once. Pick the one that hits hardest. Start there. If this was useful, save it for your next family money check-in. And if you want a calm weekly note on building better money systems as a family, the Vault newsletter is where I go deeper. The link is also in the description. I'm Morgan, and this is what smart money families do.